In this video, we're going to talk about creating shape files from nothing, from scratch. There will be new shape files you've never had before. These new shape files are then going to allow us to digitize things from imagery on our landscape. I've left this off from a previous video where we added in some XY points from a spreadsheet. So those are still hanging out in there, but we'll probably just leave them be for this video. Now, when we want to create shape files, or in the case of the shapefile creation that we're doing, digitizing, we have to be careful about how we set up our shapefile, where we create that shapefile. Then we have to be careful about the imagery we're using to create stuff from, to create items from. So we're going to start by creating a new shapefile. We have to have that before we do anything. Now, there's not, you might say, okay, add data, I can add a blank shapefile. Actually, there's not, insert new shapefile. No, nothing like that. And you could search forever. We're going to go for a quick shortcut way to create a new shapefile. The thing about new shapefiles is that you have to create it before you can put anything in it. So it's not like we can hop into edit mode and just start messing around with stuff. We want to make that container. We want to make that thing that our shapefile is going to, or the data is going to be inside of, the shapefile that our data is going to be inside of, before we just start editing stuff. So we're actually going to use catalog, the catalog view, the catalog pane here, which you can get to with view, windows, catalog pane, or if you have your catalog on the side here, you can just open up. We're actually going to create a new shapefile within a folder of interest. So I'm going to connect to the folder I'm working in. Again, this is up to your data style, your data, you're in control of your data. And as you can see, I've been working through a lot of things. I'm going to actually put this in my lab 5 folder. I'm going to put that right there in my data. That looks pretty good to me. And actually, I went a little bit too deep. Remember, when we're connecting to a folder, we want to connect to the highest level that makes sense, so that we don't have to try to dig our way out. It's a lot easier to dig into the file structure than out of it. So I came back a bit to my lab 5 folder here. Now it's available over here. All of my data is ready to go. See you that ortho here in a second. And so within this, I'm just going to right click on the folder where I want my data, and I'm going to make a new shapefile. Just that easy. Create a new shapefile and make it from there. We're a big fan of that. Now, I've got my location, so that's the folder that it's in. I need a name for it. I'm going to call it campus buildings. If you're following along with the lab, you know that we have some buildings to digitize, so we're going to do that. Buildings are polygons, so I'm going to keep it as a polygon. Remember that although a shapefile can contain points, lines, or polygons, it can only contain one of those per shapefile. You can't have multiple geometries bouncing around in our file here. So polygon, we have no M, no routing, we have no Z, no elevation. Coordinate system. Oh, this is a big question. We're going to have to think about this. When we're doing digitizing, we should set the digitizing that we're using, or we should set the coordinate system for the shapefile that we're digitizing to be the same as the imagery that we're using. Well, we haven't selected our imagery yet, so we're going to have to think about this. We have a couple of options in this case, in our example here, of what imagery we can use. We could add in, if we went back to the catalog here, we could add in this lovely UMass ortho photo, and we could digitize from that, all ready to go, all ready to work from. Or we could digitize, if I just turn that off real quick, from the base map. We've got this base map with lovely imagery in here. The base maps in ArcPro are not just the kind of topographic look. We can choose either, and either are fine. Streaming base maps are great because they're streaming. We don't have to download all the data. We don't have to have a big worry about downloading stuff and unzipping and all that kind of stuff. They're easy to use, easy to make. But we might not have as much control for a base map over when it was taken, the resolution sometimes. So you might have more control. You definitely have more control over your data if you download and use a specific ortho image or air photo or satellite image, whatever it might be. In this case, I think I'm going to stick with the base map. I like this base map. It's a little bit more up to date. So I'm going to stick with that. Now, what we want to make sure is aligned. So now that we've chosen our imagery check. Now we've got to make sure that everything is aligned projections wise, coordinate systems wise. And what we want to make sure is that our view, our map view, is the same as our imagery, and that our shapefile that we're going to be creating is the same as our imagery. So we want everything to be nice and aligned. So I'm going to check the properties of this world imagery spatial reference here. This is in WGS 84 Web Mercator Auxiliary Sphere. That is the kind of the default for all of the ARC base maps and whatnot. I actually haven't, I don't know if I've seen one in a different coordinate system. So so I think that's the go-to. So WGS 84 Web Mercator Auxiliary Sphere. All right. So I'm going to change my map to make sure that that matches. Coordinate systems, Web Mercator Auxiliary Sphere. Great. It kind of stretches out because we were looking at it through some other coordinate system. Right, so that's good. I'm going to go back to my geoprocessing. Remember, this video is about geoprocessing. And I'm going to choose my coordinate system to be same as that. Web Mercator. Great. Okay, everything's looking good. So I'm creating a new feature class called Campus Buildings. Geometry is polygon. It has the same coordinate system as the imagery that I'm using, and that same coordinate system is in my map view. Everything's nice and aligned. Let's hit run, and great. We get a new, ooh, I closed my geoprocessing, that's okay. We've got a new little shapefile over here. It's empty, there's nothing in it, that's okay. I haven't put anything in it yet. So let's do that. Once you have your new shapefile, you can start editing in it. So I'm going to pick a building here. Here's lovely Holdsworth Hall. I think it looks like a flying wing myself. And here in Holdsworth, I want to, well, this is a campus buildings shapefile. So I'm going to sketch a building here. I always used to, in old ARC, and I think I still do it to this day, I always used to want to right click and go to edit and start editing in my shapefile. We don't do it that way anymore. We have this lovely edit tab. So what am I going to do? I'm going to select my campus buildings. That's what I want to edit. I'm in my edit tab and I'm going to go to create. What I'm going to create some features. So when I hit create, I'm going to select my campus buildings. And all these tools show up that I can do. And create polygons. I can do all kinds of snapping stuff like that. I'm just going to stick with the create polygon button here. So edit, create. I selected campus buildings. Now we're going to create. I'm going to zoom into so I can about see the whole thing in one spot. There we go. I'm just going to start clicking. Every time I click, I place a new vertex. I'm not being super precise in this case. If you get into digitizing positions, the people who are having you digitize will have likely very precise directions. In this case, I'm just trying to roughly follow the outline of the building. Yeah, that's looking good. That's looking good. Great. I think, yeah, I like that. So now that I'm done, I'm just going to double click to finish. I've got a new building. I'm all set to go. I look in the attribute table. There it is. I made that. Let's do one more. This is way too much fun. So digitizing is really just a, we'll do this one here. I forget the name of this building. Digitizing is a little bit patience, a little bit attention to detail, a little bit fun. All right, got another building. I'm going to do one more. and certainly something that is incredibly useful in terms of turning imagery into vector data, in terms of understanding differences over time. Here we go. This is looking really nice. I'm just going to finish that off. I don't think that's part of the building there. I think that's a shed. We're going to double click there. All right, I've got a bunch of buildings. Now, before we wander off and celebrate our success, we need to save these edits. So I'm going to make sure to hit save here. Save all edits. You can't undo anything after you hit save, so we'll want to make sure that we're happy with our edits. I know I am. We're going to hit save. Going to confirm, yes, going to save. Now those edits are within my campus buildings attribute table. And I'm super happy. There's lots of tools for editing shapes as well as creating them. We won't go over that in this video, but we have gone over creating a shapefile, selecting imagery to base our digitizing work that we're going to put into that shapefile off of, making sure all of our coordinate systems are aligned, then digitizing some images.